Hello, I'm Karen Giannoni. We begin with a developing story from Kazakhstan. Dozens of people feared dead after a passenger plane with nearly 70 people on board crashed in the southwest of the country. At least 25 injured have been taken to hospital. The dramatic footage shows the plane coming towards the ground, followed by a large explosion when it hits the ground. It's a plane operated by Azerbaijan Airlines. It came down near the city of Aktau. The pictures show rescue workers at the crash site. It isn't yet known what caused the plane to go down, but it had apparently been diverted due to fog. The plane was en route from Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan, to Grozny in Russia. Well, with me in the studio, our correspondent Jonathan Josephs. Jonathan, just first of all, what more do we know?
Well, Karen, the first thing to say is details are very much still emerging as this situation develops. What we do know is mainly from the Kazakh authorities. They tell us that there were 67 people on board this aircraft, including 5 crew, and that survivors have been taken to hospital. That is 29 people at the last count. That number has been changing over the last few hours, and it does, at the latest count, include 2 children. Now, this happened near the city of Aktau. The flight was originally from Baku in Azerbaijan, heading to Grozny in southern Russia, but seems to have been diverted. Reports suggest that was because of bad weather at Grozny, and it seems to have come down near the Caspian Sea. Pictures from the crash show a large body of water on the horizon. There are a huge number of rescue personnel involved. The Kazakh authorities posting on social media saying that that was about 150 people involved in it. And we can see that the plane must have come down with some force. It seems to have broken into 2. There is the back half of the plane almost intact on this field, and other parts show that there are scorch marks on the earth. There must have been a fire with the fuel tanks exploding. That would be the working presumption here. And there were bodies thrown from the aircraft. We can see that they have been covered by sheets in this field as they are surrounded by the authorities. Their focus will probably be initially on trying to find the flight data recorders to try and get some more information and to understand from the cockpit what the pilots were experiencing and trying to piece together exactly what happened using that information.
Now, we're looking at the pictures now that you described, Jonathan, that plane completely broken, but the back section still intact. It's an Embraer 190, I believe. What more do we know about that model, and what's the manufacturer saying?
So Embraer is a Brazilian company, sometimes thought of as perhaps a number 3 behind the 2 big companies in the commercial aviation business, which are obviously Airbus and Boeing. Boeing has obviously had lots of problems with its aircraft over the last year or so. But Embraer has normally had a pretty good safety record. The E190 is a smaller jet, normally configured to have around 100 passengers on board, depending on how an airline wants it. And as I say, it has a very good safety record. It has a range of about 2,800 miles, I think it's about 4,500 kilometres, and a top speed of about 630 miles per hour. Used on many shorter flights around the world, trying to link smaller cities together because you don't need such a big runway for it. Now, sources at the manufacturer say that they are working to understand exactly what happened. A spokesman for Embraer has told me that they are ready to assist the Kazakh authorities and that their concerns and sympathy go to the family, friends and colleagues and the loved ones of those who've been affected by this accident. It's an unusual circumstance for this company, and they are standing by to send teams to the scene to help with the investigation, as you would normally expect an aircraft manufacturer to do in this sort of circumstance.
Jonathan, thank you very much. Jonathan Josephs bringing us up to date with that air crash in Kazakhstan. Ukrainian cities have come under large-scale Russian missile attacks on